Ooh,
Thank you, Barry, so much for that introduction. Hi, this is Storytime with Jesse Bradley, where each and every time I do this, I improvise a what I believe to be true story. So I don't prepare these stories like I prepare all of my other stories when I do storytelling. So we are going to explore something, and this could become a story, or it becomes an essay, or maybe it's a blend of both. As always, whenever I do this, I a couple of things. One, there are difficult subjects that may be unearthed, as is the nature of storytelling. While it is a fun thing, it also can unearth some shit that you didn't expect. So there might be some serious subjects that are explored as a result of this exploration. So apologies in advance. Also, anyone I reference, all of the names are changed, and certain details might be altered to protect them. But everything I say here today is what I believe to be true, as memory is kind of a fallible thing. So how I typically figure out these stories is I listen to the jam previous to this, and I figure out, okay, what is the story that I'm going to tell based on what I've been listening to, and I'm going to talk about kind of dating apps loosely, and this will all make sense in a moment. So I have been online dating before online dating was really a thing. And we're talking, just to give you a frame of reference in terms of online dating. I've been online dating since Yahoo Personals was a thing. Like I have used any and all sorts of things that really shouldn't have been used for dating. Um, like LiveJournal, I've used those for dating, and I've used those really successfully. And the thing about online dating, or just think about online like dating in general, is you present your best self when it comes to dating. It's almost like an act of sociopathy where you are this idealized person, and then when you meet someone, you are the best version of yourself, because you want to be able to get someone to buy in and like you for this best version of yourself. So when things go really horribly wrong, they're going to be there to take care of you and need you to do stuff like when you are just at your absolute worst. And I think that's the problem with romance and with dating, because it's all about the ideal, where you start off with this perfect version, and then only when you have been with someone for a while, then and only then do you reach that point where something bad or something horrible happens, and then it really sees like whether or not this person really wants to stick around. And for me, online dating, I want online dating to actually ask people, what's the worst thing? What is the worst thing that's ever happened to you? What's the moment of vulnerability? Because we want to all stick around. Like the thing is, we never see like Snow White and the Prince. Like, what happens if she gets cancer? And then does Prince Charming stick around? Or like any of those romances where it's happily ever after, but then the lights go down, and then you don't see what's going on right after. So I grew up with my mom. Um, I was the oldest, and I was also the caretaker. And my mom did an okay job at like taking care of me when I was sick. But when it was time for her to be sick, because she was taking care of both of us and she needed to work and take care and keep a roof over her head, immediately had my flying shoes on. I was just making sure that she had tea, she had everything that she needed to get her back up on her feet, because I was the only one really who could do that at that particular point. And I didn't think about that, like about what it would be like to be sick and to be taken care of in a relationship. I always thought that I was going to be the caregiver in a relationship. I never thought, okay, what is it going to be like if I'm sick and I need to be taken care of? And in both of my previous marriages, um, they weren't really good at taking care of me. And there's a small part of me that was perfectly okay with that because I accepted that role. That these two individuals who I met online, one through Yahoo Personals and the other through Match.com, never really talked about on the online dating profile, like really that type of stuff. Those serious conversations that need to happen in a relationship never really happened until they kind of present themselves. So whenever I was sick, um, both of my partners just couldn't quite figure out like what to do or how to take care of me, or chose to just be somewhere else because here I am, I'm immobile and there's nothing I can really do because I'm sick. And I remember this freshly with Janine, my second wife, where um I got sick like around the holidays, and really really sick, really terribly awfully sick, like fevers. It was like mini plagues. And rather than just stick around and make sure that I'm okay, she continued to keep, like, Thanksgiving, like, why are you, you should be able to suck it up and go. And I'm like, I'm dying on the couch right now. I can't really go. Or for Christmas, like, I'm not feeling great. I'm dying on the couch. I can't really go. And that should have been a red flag, the way that care, or the lack of, was happening. So, or before we got married, Janine and I, we were zip lining of all places. This is around 2014. It was August, and she wasn't feeling well like all day. And we went to her parents to watch college football game, and she still isn't feeling well. And I've never seen her in this kind of pain. I'm like, okay, we need to go to the ER at this point. And we go to the ER, and we get there and they do blood work and whatnot. It's 3 a.m. And Janine, the doctor, comes back and goes, Janine, it looks like that we're going to have to remove your gallbladder. It is done. Like, we have to remove it. And my immediate thought was, okay, all right, I'm going to take care of this person. And I go home, and I'm not driving at this point, so I'm having to use cabs, or I think Uber was just starting. So I go home to my place and feed my cat and make sure that she's fine. And I go to her place and take care of her dog and get a change of clothes and whatnot. And I'm back in the hospital right then and there. And I end up like being there, like sleeping in the same hospital room, in her room, because I want to make sure that she's fine. I want to be there. And I'm being woken up like she is every couple of hours because the nurses are coming in to do the blood work and check all of these things. And I thought by doing this that I would maybe get the same kind of treatment that, I wanted to show my partner that I'm going to be there at your worst day. Like, you need surgery. I'm going to be there in the hospital room with you to take care of you. I am going to be there afterwards to take care of you. I know that you're not able to go to work. And I did all of these things. And we ended up getting married because of, hey, this is the big test. This is the test that I showed that, hey, I'm a good partner. I'm really good with a crisis. And yet I didn't get the same back from her. And like, it bothered me so much that I didn't get the same. Towards the end, it got better, but I felt like it was also out of an obligation. The last time that Janine was with me, it was February of 2020, like right before COVID starting really hitting hard, like before we were like all going to be locked down and, talking about social distancing and masking and all that. It was the last time that I was in a hospital without a mask. And at that point, like, we were starting to separate, starting to move out. I had horrible, horrible stomach pain for a few, like for days. I went to an urgent care, and the doctor tells me that, Jesse, I think you might have appendicitis. I'm not going to charge you, and we're going to go ahead and you're going to go to the hospital. You need to go to the hospital right away. And I'm like, well, thanks, doc, and thanks for not charging me, only for me to get a more expensive hospital bill potentially later on. And at this point, we're really like not talking to each other, and we're dealing with each other, but not in a friendly way. And she's like, do you want me to the hospital with you? And I'm like, yeah, I think that's, and again, it's the kind of the story is, asking me if she should be there versus like, hey, I'm going to be there regardless. So we're in the hospital for a few hours, and there's this like moment where I'm having to change to get out of my clothing and into scrubs so they can do an MRI, sorry, not MRI, a CT scan. And she's helping me get out of these clothes. And I'm starting to cry because I'm going, who's going to do this for me when I'm older? Who's going to do this for me when I'm 65 or 70? Like, who's going to be able to take care of me? And there's a brief moment where I was like, do I really want this marriage to keep going? And at the same time, we've got so tired of being alone with somebody, like someone who stopped really taking care of each other and being there for each other. So what's the point of having this relationship? And even though like in this terrifying moment that I might need surgery and she might need to take care of me, and I'm going to have to wait a little bit longer to move out, I'm like, fuck this. I'm done. Like, this is it. Like, I'm going to take my chances. I'm going to rather be by myself than be alone with somebody else. And fortunately, it turned out that the reason for my stomach pain was I was constipated. I was full of shit. And I knew, like, it took me like 7 years to get to that point of like, I can't be with somebody who's not going to be there to take care of me. So this year, this is July, my girlfriend, Statcat, it was going to be her 38th birthday, and she wanted to celebrate at Disney. She is a huge Disney fan. Loves Disney. We're talking 28 mini ears in downstairs that she can just wear wherever she wants. And we're at like one of the resorts, and we're living our, hey, Disney's a fairly safe place. They enforce masking, but they're starting to let more people in. We have a wonderful dinner. And that Saturday, the last full day that we were going to be there, I start feeling this tickle in my throat. And I'm a little worried because I'm vaccinated, and I'm also freaking out because I haven't been sick in almost 2 years at this point. Last time I was sick, it was December of 2019. It was the worst flu I ever have. I think it may have been COVID because I've never been that sick ever in my whole life. And I feel my throat just aching and getting worse. And I'm just starting to feel run down and feel like shit. And at this point now we're at Magic Kingdom because she wants to see the fireworks show. And I'm starting to have panic attacks because I'm going, is this COVID? Is this COVID? Am I sick? Am I going to potentially infect other people? Like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, I look over to Statcat, to my girlfriend, and I'm like, hey, we need to talk really quick. And we go off to the side away from the masses and masses of people. And I go, I don't think I can, because it's her birthday weekend and I don't want to ruin it. And I want to power through it so bad because it's her birthday weekend, and I don't want to ruin her birthday weekend. And I go, Statcat, I'm not feeling well. My throat is really hurting. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can power through. And I was somewhat, there's a little tiny part of me that was, it was maybe expecting her to be like, you could, try the best you can, power through, try to make it to the fireworks, and then we'll go home. But it's really, really clear that Fat could see like how much pain that I was in. And she goes, let's go back to our room. Let's pack up. Let's go home. And we do, like, and I'm apologizing all the way back to the hotel. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I ruined your birthday weekend. And she's like, it's okay. You didn't ruin anything. You're not feeling well at all. And we need to like get you home and get you home right away. And I am like the pain in my throat is getting worse. And we make it back to the hotel, and I'm packing as fast as I can. She helps me pack. We pack. We end up leaving. We get in the car, and I start feeling the fever come on. And I'm feeling like death warmed over, and I'm actually passing out on the front seat of the car. And she drives as fast as possible home, and she helps me, like, she wakes me up and she gets me upstairs, and she's like, you need to, like, she wakes me up to make sure that I'm taking aspirin to help with my fever and drink water. And she makes arrangements to, like, for both of us to go get a COVID test just to make sure, because doctors, they have their own network, and they do favors for each other, because it's a unique hell that they all have gone through med school and residency and everything. And the next day, I'm still feeling like death warmed over. And we pull up to this parking lot, and doctor comes out, and they swab us both. And about 20 minutes later, doctor comes back out and says, good news, it's not COVID. And I'm like, oh, good. So this is just one of those normal colds. Even though my stat cat's like, yeah, what you have isn't a normal cold. I've never seen anything like this. This is actually very, very terrifying. And she did some research, and it turns out that I have these, because of my huge tonsils, I have this overactive immune response. I forget what the name of it is. And so when I do get colds, like, immediately I get fevers. Like, it happens to me all the time, and I'm so used to feeling like shit. And she's like, that is not okay. Like, this is not okay. Like, we're going to have to make sure there's steroids in the house or something to make sure that this never happened. And I already was in love, like, so much with Stat Cat. Like, and this is the first time that a partner, any partner I've ever been with, actually took care of me. Like, Stat Cat moved heaven and earth to get this done, to make this happen. And it made it so easy for me to propose to her, like only like a few weeks later, and ask her to marry me, because I knew that Stat Cat was going to be great in a crisis. Not just like she loved me as a person, but I also knew, like, shit, I have a partner who's going to take care of me. So a few weeks ago, I hear a very loud bang upstairs. And I know that Stat Cat's in the shower. She just got done soaking in the bath after a long day. She's on call. She's taking a shower to wash off the soap off, and I hear this incredibly loud bang. And I run upstairs immediately, and I see Stat Cat is on the shower floor, just landing on her arm, and I'm like, "Are you okay? Are you gonna be okay?" And Stat Cat's, yeah, like, it's all adrenaline. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna be fine. And then she eventually comes downstairs, and she is crying because the pain is that bad. And so Stat Cat's pain tolerance is legendary. She's had endometriosis all of her life. I've seen her in pain before, and the fact that she was crying, I knew that it was really bad. And she goes, look, I can get myself to the ER. It'll be fine. And I'm like, absolutely not. You are not going to get yourself to the ER. I'm going to drive you to the ER and we're going to go to the ER together and I'm going to be there by your side. Fuck COVID. Because she was so worried about, like, even in pain, like not wanting me to get sick, not wanting to expose me to COVID. And I wasn't even like, you're not allowed to argue with me. Like, you are absolutely not driving with one arm while you are in excruciating, absolutely awful, terrible, terrible pain. So I drive her to the ER, and it's at the hospital where she does her where she delivers babies and does on call. And she's actually on call. She's actually supposed to be able to. She's supposed to go in and deliver babies and perform any other like urgent OBGYN surgeries. And she can't because she's got a busted arm. And the benefit though by going to her hospital is they get us in really quick. Because she's one of the doctors that practices there, or has hospital privileges there. So like they get us in like super, super quick. Like we are in and out of the ER in 3 hours, which is unheard of. It was amazing. And it turned out that she was like me. She was someone who has never had someone to take care of her other than her parents. And she always puts herself ahead, like puts herself ahead of everyone. It puts everyone else's needs ahead of hers. And that's the thing about just love and about romance. It's not about the best moments. It's about like the worst moments. It's about like seeing your partner on the shower floor with a broken arm or on the couch dying of some sort of plague. Like those are the moments that really define who you are as a romantic partner. And if you can't deal with those moments, then you shouldn't be in a relationship at all. And that's my story tonight, y'all.